So welcome to the Tesla Pod, guys. So we have Komala and Kush from Peazy Labs here. So the car is driving by itself, right?
Yeah.
And then you're building software to actually basically drive itself, right? So it's a
Yeah.
very interesting space that you guys are in. So I mean, like, how does it feel to be building in SF, right? And the whole
Yeah.
space that you're in.
I mean, the self-driving car is definitely crazy. I've obviously seen them on social media everywhere, but sitting in it while the car is driving yourself, you as the driver, you're just on your
Yeah.
laptop. I think it's
This is your first
absolutely
time doing a
insane.
podcast in a
In a
self-driving
car.
car?
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
I think it's the first time me even knowing about a concept like
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you do a quick 30 seconds pitch, right,
Yeah.
about what Peazy is doing.
Yeah.
So, what is it?
Yeah, we're an onboarding agent for software to onboard product demos and kind of assist customers to help use the tool better so that your customers they don't drop out, they don't have to read through super long product documentation or PDFs. They can learn how to use their software when they're on it as well.
Right. So, if I'm a say a customer success leader, right, which I believe you're mainly selling to customer success leaders, right? So then, uh, why would I care?
Yeah, I think really good question. We have seen, I think I come from that space where I created a lot of like Loom videos. I was creating product documentation, a lot of FAQs. But at the end of the day, for a user to submit a request or submit a ticket or even email you, that means they've already gone through so much frustration of, oh, I don't know how to create this dashboard. I don't know how to filter this thing out. And so that's why we wanted to build kind of, if I could be there helping every single user at every moment of them using a tool.
Right.
Well, that's what we kind of built because we wanted them to have that, very personalized concierge experience of if I want to use a tool, I just want to use it. I don't want to have to think about it. I don't have to want to learn on a different video. I just want to get my work done. So we've built this agent that's fully understanding what you need to do, what you need to get done, just help you get that done faster.
Right. So I think I mean the typical things that if I'm new to a software, right?
Mhm.
So how I would probably learn about the software is like by watching a couple of videos or like reading a bunch of
Yeah.
documentation, right? And then so what you're essentially telling is instead of me having to watch 30 minutes like whole
Hmm.
tutorial, right?
Yeah.
And then come to do just like say if it's Canva, like just to
Yeah.
crop an image for an example, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you help to cut down all of that learning time, right? And
Yeah.
then straight away get whatever I want to get done. Is that
Yeah.
is that the case?
Imagine if you could just ask Salesforce, help me build a marketing campaign, and you could just do it on the tool. So we live as, an on software support widget that's able to help you. So you literally don't need to waste hours and hours learning a tool.
Right. That's super interesting, right? So and Komala, like your founder note on the on the
Hmm.
side it says, right?
Yeah.
So you've lived the churn problem firsthand,
Mm.
right? And then you've really been in the customer success space, right? So
Mm.
what are the problems that you saw firsthand, right? That
Hmm.
that you really thought that okay, man, this is not how it's supposed to work, right? And then
Yeah.
you wanted to like start building this.
Yeah, I think so I was doing sales and customer success, which is like onboarding customers and all that good stuff. I think what was heartbreaking the most was I spent so much time kind of like taking customers out for dinner, building that relationship. These are big, like large clients, five-figure deals.
Right.
After we onboard them, I would take like a live onboarding call, train them. We had like other people in the call as well, making sure that they understood the tool. But Irosha, that's not where the actual learning happens. It's not where they use the tool. It's like 2 weeks down the lane. Now their team members are sitting logging in for the first time and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. They're maybe checking Slack. They're like, oh, is there a recording of the onboarding call?
Right.
How do I get this done? And we were struggling on the end of, I was looking at like post talk session recordings to see what did the user try doing? Like what did they actually do? Where did they get to even have that insight of were they able to get what they wanted to done? I wasn't able to get that. And so I felt very handicapped because I wanted to make sure the customers got value out of the
Hmm.
tool. And I couldn't get that information on whether what did they actually try and what did they actually get done. And I think that became kind of this core of only for really big deals, we were taking weekly sessions, weekly calls, and everybody was on the call. And we were like, yeah, how did you use the tool? Like, how has it been? Blah, 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 all that good stuff. But for majority of the other clients, we couldn't because we had a shortage of human time. And I think that's what led me to, if there could be um literally a buddy sitting next to you
Right.
helping you out, like I wish I had that.
Right, right.
So
Is it like, I mean, back in the day in
yeah,
Microsoft Word, there was
yeah.
this, what, the Clippy, right? So is it something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Kushal, you wanna add to that?
I think it started by being like Clippy,
Right,
Yeah.
but we saw that the value is more in consulting them, not just showing them what to do by coming as a second cursor. One of the clients that we were speaking to, they had sales users creating digital avatar videos on their platform, and they went and asked ChatGPT, "Hey, can you give me a template to create a digital avatar video?" ChatGPT gave them a 5-minute script for a digital video because that's very good on a written script, but it's
right.
not on a digital avatar video, right? So when there's disconnect of not even knowing what to put in a platform,
Mm,
you need consultation.
Hmm.
Now that's what a
yeah.
good CSM would do in a human call. They handhold you. They will not just say click on that, click on this. They will handhold you and give you exactly tailor-made what's good for your platform. And I think that's what Peazy is trying to be, that
Yeah.
concierge that understands you, consults you, guides you, does things for you.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Kush, you're not originally from a customer success background as per se, right?
Yeah.
So how exactly did Komala sell you on this problem?
Mm.
No, I do come from a learning management system background,
Right.
edtech, right? We sold it to universities and we sold courses to students. There were two different episodes where in episode one, students would do the learning. Sometime after graduation, they get the hands on experience. So, whatever we gave them during college is kind of forgotten, was not very well simulated learning, hands on learning that people were not, that the students were not really performing well post graduation. And I was always dissatisfied of how disconnected these are. And the same
Mm.
thing exists with customer education. Like you watch some video on YouTube and then you go try to use the platform has changed, or maybe you did not learn how to use it. And the question comes, if you want to sit in a Tesla today and it just drives,
Hmm.
why do you want to learn different car, different driving types, right? So different
Yeah.
To just
softwares
work.
to just work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To just get work done. So that's where we felt like, hey, can we make software self-driving? So you don't you never need to learn how to use the software. You run the business, you know your show better, and the software will run itself.
Right,
Mm.
right. So, and with regards of the origin story, right? So, how did both of you meet, right? And then how did you decide to, like, that we have to
Yeah.
work on this?
Yeah. So Peazy is actually our second company together. We met in high school. We went to the same high school together, and then we went to the same college. And our first company, our first organization that we built was Vimana, which was this nonprofit student
So, this is the second
organization.
startup you're building.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
And I think so. Yeah, we've met. We've known each other for almost 10 years, and I think we've been building together for almost 8 years now. So it kind of felt natural when I had faced this issue. When we were talking about it, there was a lot of similarities in what Kashalik just talked about. Of we had that disconnect when we were helping students
Hmm.
with courses as well. There was a disconnect of, okay, we were training them, but were they actually getting the work done? There was still
Right,
that disconnect. And so a couple of months ago, when we started talking about this issue, I think it was just very natural for us to say, hey, why don't we just solve this? We clearly know what's missing. And right now, the AI capabilities can actually make it possible. And we've done this before. So how hard can it be?
right,
Yeah.
right. And so you mentioned this is the second startup that you are building
Mm.
together, right? Previous one was Vimana,
So the previous startup was Sapientry.
right?
Vimana was kind of like the path into that.
Hmm.
Vimana was a nonprofit organization that we kind of pivoted into a for-profit company, which is Sapientry.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
you all were building that here or in India?
This was in India.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So now diving a little bit into the hey, there's robot XA.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
the first time I'm seeing that actually.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I've
pretty
actually
cool.
never
Sleek.
seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Right.
People say it's cheaper than Uber and Lyft, so
Yes,
we should
yes,
try
yes,
that out.
yes, actually.
Yeah.
So diving into the product, right?
Yeah.
So your like the initial reaction, right, when
Mhm.
someone starts to understand your space, right?
Yeah.
It is that are you directly fighting with someone like Intercom or
Mm.
Zendesk, right? Because that's kind of the moment you
Yeah.
get into a product, what you're used to seeing
Yeah.
is the Intercom bot, right?
Mm.
Kind of pinging you, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
asking if I mean, not really connecting to a human, not so much
Yeah.
right now, right? But rather be it giving you resources or trying to get through to a human through that, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm?
how do you differentiate, right, from these giants like say
Yeah.
Intercom or Zendesk, Walk Me, this
Mhm.
different. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Walk Me, Pendo, they are kind of in different space, right? But
Yeah.
if you had to start talking about Intercom or Zendesk, how do you differentiate?
Yeah. No, 100%. Like, those are all things that we've listed down as
Right,
competitors in all of our applications.
right.
But yeah, the biggest difference is all of this has context about only product specifics, and it requires somebody on the other side to manually update this. For example, one of the customers that we have right now, they told us that 4 engineers were put onto a walk me kind of like project that they had to feed all the information in, and every time there was a new feature, any change on the
Hmm.
UI, all of them had to be involved and had to update that accordingly. And that just takes so much time, to the point where they were like, I don't really know if this is useful for people.
Hmm.
And so that's where we've been differentiated in terms of AI is now able to just read the complete product documentation, understand what to do on the tool, and it becomes that concierge. So I think so I was talking to Marty from Pylon the other day. I was at Saster, and he said even though Zendesk has AI, he said Zendesk with AI is still Zendesk.
Hmm.
So it's still very much clunky, or not built for this AI native world. And I think that's where we're able to differentiate in terms of from the ground up. The agent truly understands what the user is trying to get done and help them get to that place faster. And it's not just pointing and clicking on the tool.
Right, right. So if we get into the nitty gritties or the nuts
Yeah.
and bolts, right? So then, I've like you've implemented PZ on a SaaS
Mm-hmm.
product, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm a user who's stuck in
Mm-hmm.
the let's say login
Yeah.
screen, right?
Yeah.
How would PZ really help me
Yeah.
to get things going?
Yeah, you could just say, "Hey, PZ, help me, I'm stuck."
Right.
And it's able to see your screen. It understands what's going on. If you've tried submitting your password and it doesn't work, it has that context as well. And so it's able to understand, "Hey, it looks like you tried logging in, maybe this didn't work. Let's try this instead." It's also going through all the product docs to see, is there any way that you can reset your password? What are all the ways to help you
Hmm.
get to where you need to be faster? And it's walking you through, okay, let's do this instead, let's do this instead. And if nothing works and there's actually a bug on the tool, it'll be able to raise that request with the team saying, hey, there's actually a bug here that you need to solve. P0, P1, whatever support ticket that's needed.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And
Just another thing to
yeah.
add. I think we see lesser of reactive support where can I log in? Can I create
Mm.
something? But we see for the current company that we're working with, it's a SEO company. They're not asking where do I click to create a new visibility experiment. They're very unsure what kind of experiment they need to do to boost their AI visibility, right?
Hmm.
So they ask Peazy, "Hey Peazy, could you help me?" Now Peazy knows everything about the account, everything about the user. It remembers from memory across multiple sessions, so it can say, hey, I know that you have launched 2 visibility experiments and you have launched 2 sentiment experiments. The next good thing to do would be a competitor analysis. Let's run an experiment.
Right.
And then it would ask, are these your competitors? Can I input them? It inputs them for them, so they don't need to type. Then it fetches the context for them, it types it in for them, and then it executes the experiment. So I would see that it's like an executive assistant that's sitting with you, asking you questions and doing things for you, then just 1 or 2 steps. Yeah.
Right, right.
Mhm.
I see. And you are integrating with quite a lot of tools, right? So Salesforce, Postdoc, Pendo, Amplitude, Zendesk, like, you integrate with all of these tools, right? So how do you, did I get that wrong?
Um, I would say two parts.
Right,
We do integrate if they have a connector.
right.
Do we manage data hygiene? Do we manage data consolidation? We kind of don't.
Hmm.
We are looking at what is the current source of truth about the user, about the account, and that's about it today. Yeah.
Right, right. I
hmm
see. So, do you have plans to integrate with these major tools as well, or do you see this being actually like a standalone tool operating separately?
That's a good question. I think as a founder, it's important to boil the lake and not the ocean.
Hmm.
And we are currently figuring out, do we want to be closer to data? Do we want to be closer to a vertical? Because we saw Harvey is doing really good by being in legal space. Many are doing good in healthcare. And there are a lot of propositions that maybe we should enter healthcare because people are not very tech savvy. So do we want to be expanding our product size, product sprawl? Do we want to be in a given vertical, or do we want to say, hey, tech SaaS across, go horizontal with a bigger distribution? That's not a figured out answer yet.
Right, right.
Yeah, horizontal versus vertical SaaS, right? You need to pick where I guess your strengths are,
Hmm.
how you can grow.
And what are the numbers like? Now, say I'm a SaaS product, right? I've implemented PC, right? How effectively, right, would you be helping my user? Because now I think one of the stats that I saw on the site was 94%, right? So that is like, you're helping users very well, right, for them to come on board much faster, right? How are the numbers or stats looking like with the customers that you're working with right now?
Every logged in user now gets that concierge support. So they're not spending only 30 seconds to 2 minutes. That's the average SaaS the first time you're logging in as a freemium user.
Hmm.
But now we are driving that up to 8 to 12 minutes because it's showing you around. Now you're involved, now you're engaged. So there's a higher retention that you get. There's a higher probability that you come back and log in. So that means we're talking about how do we cut down the high touch points that used to happen across multiple logins into one single login that you realize the full product features in the very first login, and then you keep coming back. And does it lead to decreased support tickets? Yes. How much? We're yet to measure.
Right, right,
That's a multi-month answer, I would say.
right, right. Which part of the, I mean, you mentioned a couple of features, right? So the fact that the agent actively monitors what the user is doing, right, and guides the user, right? So I mean, quite some interesting features that you all mentioned, right? So out of this, like, which feature is the part that you're most proud of, like, in your product?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question, huh?
I think for me, like most proud, as in like we dog food our own product,
Hmm.
and so when I'm stuck on a software, so like the what we deploy to our users is an in-app widget, but we also have kind of like the self-service version where you could genuinely just ask anything on a website. And for me, I think every time I get stuck on like, how do I change my billing on Stripe? Or like, how do I do this? And like these simple questions where if I Google it, I'll have to go through a bunch of different things. Yeah, Google will show up some answer, but then I need to come back here and see, oh, I'm on the wrong type of, I don't know, module and it doesn't work here. Versus I can genuinely just ask PC and it'll help me within a couple of seconds. I think that was the most like wow, this is actually very, very cool. Like I love using it on a daily
Right,
basis. So I would say like I'm just proud that it's helping me just get my daily work done as well.
right.
What's
Um, yeah, I think Kombo spoke from a personal context. I'm the builder, so I try not to fall in love with the product as much as possible. From the product feature perspective, what's really helpful is its ability to have skills, the agent skills that it self generates. So none of the flows which earlier humans had to sit and define for every release cycle now is taken care of by AI. I mean, you're in a similar space. You run AI simulations across and you capture different screens
Yeah.
across different routes. And I think that's a really big time saver that's underrated even on our product page and our product communications. The ease of building the knowledge base, ease of building, converting them into guides, and it's not a state machine, right? It's a skill. You're just listing them as checklists, so you can just type and say, no, I would like to add fourth step before submit. I want to ask the user if they would like to change anything else in the form. You can just type that as a CSM leader, and I think that kind of guideline management is really good. First, maybe adding another. Now, I, as a user, can get a message from the customer success manager saying, "Hey, Irosha, I see that last week you created a new SEO experiment. I just personally want Peazy to show you a new visibility experiment." So you can just slide in a message while you're within the app that makes you feel like it's personalized, costed no big time for the CSM, but you got the personal touch, and Peazy is showing around whatever the CSM told you, but
Right.
very personalized for you.
So is it right if I tell you're not only making the lives of the users better, but also the lives of the CSMs better
Yeah.
as well?
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's two parts of the problem that you're actually
Yeah.
solving with one product. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also,
Right.
the views are so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. I'm
This is the
looking
first
at
time
that.
I'm coming around here as well.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was
just
here only once.
gorgeous.
So moving into the co-founder life, right? So I know that as founders, like, we have to be delusional at times as well, right? So
Yeah.
who out of both of you, I know who's the optimist and who's the realist?
Oh wow. I think very easily Kushal's the optimist. I'm the realist. I'm usually the devil's advocate on, okay, practically speaking, why would this not work, or why does this suck, or what needs to be changed. But that's why, like, Kushal's incredible in that sense, that very big visionary of, like, this is the amazing things that we could do. And yeah, I think you definitely need to be a little delusional for that.
Right, right. And what's the dumbest fight that you guys have got into so far?
um I think a lot. Like, b- I think as founders, you need to be very strong with your opinions, and that also means that sometimes you tend to disagree a lot. And I think that's part of becoming better, because if you just agree on everything, right, you're not gonna grow. So I
Yeah.
feel like we have very dumb arguments a lot. Anything that comes to mind.
Probably because I'm the tech person, and she asks for certain quick features that she could demo. And I'm like, do you know what it takes to
A
do
lot.
that? And she'd be like, anyhow, you're asking Codex or Claude to build it, so it should be fast. Like, do you want a
Yeah.
$200 account now? We can get it. Can you get the feature? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not always a feature. Maybe it sounds like a feature, but it's not a feature. It changes the architecture, and we cannot do that. And it gets a little tough
Right.
sometimes to explain, sit down and say, hey, this is how our product foundation is. And if I want to build a new Chrome extension just to show, and it's not an in-app anymore, it's gonna have a different bridge, different way of working. And we have had a couple of fights around that. Yeah. But I think it's a healthy one, because sometimes it pushes me to think different, to create a smaller, not an MVP, right? Minimum working product.
Right.
Just so that we can show
Because
them if
now,
they like.
especially,
Yeah.
just minimum viable product is not good enough,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It needs
Yes.
to be working now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I think, yeah, we've had a few fights around that. Yeah.
Right, right,
Mhm.
right. I see. And now recently, like, you guys got into Founders Inc., right? And that's where we met as well, right? So let me quickly
Yeah.
pull back.
Oh, today's also such a, like,
It's the
cloudless
first time I'm coming to
blue
Chrissy
sky.
Fields. It's really nice.
Oh. We've also actually never come here, but
Right.
This
like
part. Yeah.
Marina Founders Inc. is
Yeah.
nearby. So,
Let's head back there.
and the drive through the park also with the trees was so beautiful.
Yes, indeed. All right, heading to Founders Inc. Right. So why we are heading to Founders Inc. Right. So
Yeah.
that's when we initially met as well. Right.
Mhm.
So then we were. I mean, we were part of the previous batch, right, which was the artifact, right? So then you all got into Canopy, right? So, how has the Founders Inc. experience been?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me, it's been like going back to school. You're in a classroom with all these people with insane amount of energy, and even though you're all working on different things, it feels like everybody's on the same boat as you. And I think for us, we've we've had a lot of non-founder friends for the majority of our entrepreneurship life. There was a lot of friends who we had who weren't building at Saturday 2 a.m., right? But here, when I come here, like the other day was a weekend, Saturday or something, 2 a.m., there's still 50 people in the office.
50
Yeah.
people. My God.
The
Right.
second floor was still full. And it's those
That
moments where
was
you're
not
like,
the case with
oh.
Avesh.
Well, I think this batch is a little crazier. But it's also, this batch is bigger than Artifact.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
probably. But that was one of those moments where I can just go to the next desk and ask somebody for any question, and we're able to support each other. So having that community was just insane. And like now I've made so many friends from the Canopy cohort as well. And I think the mentorship has been wonderful too, in terms of, even though between Kushal and I am the more practical one, the mentors like Hubert or Ruslan, they're able to give like, this has actually worked in the industry. You should try this. This hasn't worked. Rethink about this. Give kind of exactly based on their past experience advice as well.
Right, right, right. So moving to hot
Yeah.
takes, right? So
Okay.
what is the hottest take in customer success right now that CS leaders won't really speak about at conferences?
Ooh. Um. I will say so many of the customer success leaders that I've spoken to, like over LinkedIn or met up at conferences, unfortunately, a lot of them are out of jobs now. And I think the hot take is that's becoming one of those areas where if you're not using AI to enhance your own productivity and the efficiency of the overall company, it's unfortunately it becomes like the target or the scapegoat for the entire organization to see, oh, it looks like that's one of the things that we can cut out from the budget immediately. So I think like if you're a customer success leader, anybody working in that space, I'm not saying this to fear you,
Right,
fear monger, or but it really has been something that been seeing more and more often of people not kind of moving up with the AI trends. And it's not just about like using Claude or talking to ChatGPT about making a presentation, but it's truly about how can I just help increase customer efficiency, whatever it is, using AI. I think that's actually something very important to think about.
right. Now, another fear that's coming up is like, say, would the role of customer success teams
Yeah.
go away altogether, right? So,
Yeah.
could this be a role that can easily, like,
Hmm.
very easily be replaced with AI,
Yeah.
right? How do you see, like, within the next 5 years, things playing out, right? Do you
Hmm.
think that these AI native tools, like what you guys are building,
Hmm.
right? They are going to really be taking over the complete customer success role as per
Hmm.
se, right? Or do you see it be more of like a collaborative role where like people are working together with agents?
Yeah.
Um, I was in Fin Operator
Right.
launch, and
They had a major event, right?
they had a
Yeah.
major
Right.
event.
Connected Commerce.
And what I was able to distill out of it is you had customer success, service, support, implementation team, professional services team, all of these post sales. It's going to consolidate into one CX layer, customer experience layer, post sale. What does it look like? And I think if a SaaS company has multiple teams, it's going to definitely consolidate. That means it's going to dissipate a couple of people. And the best example that I can think of always is what happened to the banks.
Hmm.
Even today, a lot of banks sell you. There's a human trying to sell you the account, credit card, but there is nobody after sale. Like everything is self service. It works. You're not thinking enough about is it a pretty app? If I want to draw money, if I want to
Yeah.
get things done, can you get things done without seeing a human?
Right.
Yes, you can get things done. Like you rarely want to see a human. But this was not a case a decade ago. You had to go see multiple people. You had a relationship manager, you had a teller, you had a clerk, you had too many people that you had to go say hello to, and now you don't. And I think that's what is going to happen in SaaS. Maybe not in 5 years, literally in 2 years itself.
Right.
That there's going to be one person who sells and another person who's a scaled person who manages relationships and gets things done for you with AI.
Right. What is the most overrated thing in AI right now, and then what's the most underrated thing?
That's a good question. People think Claude or any of the AI can change how workflows happen outside of Silicon Valley. But when I speak to people in like Midwest or like even East Coast, I don't see a lot of them using Claude,
Hmm.
using any of the AI. The max they do is chatting with ChatGPT. They don't have plugins. They don't have. So the way I would see it is how many people use Chrome extensions. That's how many people are going to be using plugins. That's how many people are going to be using skills. Um, so I think that's overrated. That you can just connect data and everything is gonna be within Claude or one of the chat interface. What is underrated? Komala, I think you wanna add? What is underrated?
I feel like nothing about AI is underrated.
Yeah,
Everything is like
we live in
overhyped.
the hype bubble. I can't think of what is underrated from a average everyday user. Maybe I'm thinking voice interfaces are still underrated.
Hmm.
I think it should have taken over. We are still in. You click on the space bar, you get to do talk to speak. But I think the duplex voice is not something that many people
Yeah.
are building for, and I feel like
Do you guys use Whisperflow?
We use Click a Brain Max, which also
Right.
has speech to text.
Whisperflow has really changed. I mean,
Oh
my
my
life
gosh.
yeah.
upside down, I would say. Yeah.
Genuinely, like after I started using it more
What's a
often,
tool called?
Click a Brain
Click a
Max.
Brain
It's
Max. Right.
like similar.
Right.
It's 1,000 times better than Siri, obviously.
Right.
But after I started using it, going back to typing just felt
Yeah.
so like, oh, this seems so manual, like such a waste of time. I could just talk and get things done.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Right. And say if there's a customer success leader, right, out there, right, who's drowning in support tickets, right, who really thinks that, like, dashboards really mean something, right, and who's facing all these problems that you're, like, talking about, right? What would you say to them?
Good question. I would say, first off, don't worry about your job. It's not about your job. At the end of the day, humans buy from humans, and you having that relationship with your customers is extremely, extremely important. And I think that's what you need to bank on. Use AI for everything else, whatever you can, to automate support tickets, to automate, every other workflow. But you need to be that person who's helping customers see true value. So I would say make sure that AI is doing the mundane work so you don't need to spend time worrying about that, and you can spend time nurturing your customer relationships.
Right, right. And if there's another pair of founders, like, who's thinking about starting something but
Yeah.
still haven't, like, pulled the plug, right?
Mm.
What would you say to them?
I feel like everybody in SF just says, "Oh, quit your job, start a company." A lot of people in SF also tell people outside SF, just come move here, right? Move to SF.
Yeah.
Everything will magically work out.
Hubert's big on that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just move to SF, just move to SF.
Everything will work out.
Like in reality, it's not magic,
Yeah.
right? So like I would say don't start a company unless you really want to. Don't start it because you're thinking about it, you have some random idea. Like test it out, get some validation, get some paying customers, even if it's very, very small. Prove to yourself that you're able to do it, and then take it on as a challenge. Because I will say it's extremely hard, extremely humiliating to be a founder, because one moment you're crying, you're bawling your eyes out, and then another moment, like, an investor just had a call with you, and it's great. So it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions. And you need to be able to wake up every single day and say, yeah, I'm doing this because I want to, because I see this vision for the future. So like my hot take is it's not for everybody. Founding a company is not for everybody. Only do it if you genuinely truly know that that's what you need to do in life and you have some sort of backing or proof that you're able to do it.
That's awesome.
Oh,
What's your take on
I
Very
think
this?
I,
deep.
Yeah.
I think I do have a contrasting thought. It's such an inflection moment that everybody should be building today. They don't need to
Yeah.
quit their job. That's not necessarily the way to get started. They just need to open Google AI Studio. Everything is free. Open GCP account, $300 free credits you get. And you should start building and prototypes, right? And these prototypes are so good. Now it comes with a database, it comes with Cloud Run. Host it and go sell it until you make 10 sales to people that you do not know. You should not be quitting the job. And if three people buy, you still have a lifestyle business that you don't have to quit the job and it still generates some kind of money. So I think stop thinking of scaled architectures. Just open Google AI Studio, start
Mm.
building, start deploying already. You don't need to be a tech person. You just click publish. It's almost like writing a document and clicking on publish. That's how simple it has become today to build
Right.
software. And I think everybody should be building. Yeah.
And there's two avenues that people could take here, right? So, I mean, you brought an interesting side, Komala, like, with regards of finding a problem, right? And
Mhm.
then, like, see if there's validation there and then building towards it,
Mhm.
right? And also at the same time, like the point that you brought up, right? It's easier now more than ever
Mhm.
to build something, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, these are kind of two approaches, right? Which, like, are contradicting with each other at
Yeah.
times as well, right? So, which approach, because I mean, like, I could, like, straight away get Google AI Studio and then start building, right? And
Yeah.
then look at, okay, once I have it in my hand, right, I could, like, it's always, always chicken and egg problem,
Yeah.
right? So
Get it.
I mean, situation, so then, like, unless you have the product in hand, you can sell it as well, right? And also, like, when you have the product in hand, like, have you actually built something that the world needs, right?
Yeah.
So these
Mm.
are kind of the contradicting thoughts, right? So then where do you think that the fine line or the midpoint is and should be?
If you haven't quit the job, you don't need to spend a lot of time today in customer discovery. You should first become a builder. Like you need to know how to move things fast, how to become operationally more efficient because operational failures are more daunting than just customer discovery failures. So that's why I said you got to start building different things, just not one thing. So you become a builder, you can ship things faster. And I think then comes, okay, you have now figured out one ICP. Then you have to say, okay, I'm not going to fall in love with building. I'm going to fall in love with solution making and selling um, to understand this one ICP really well. And I think product market fit and market product fit. These
Hmm.
both are two different terms. It should not be only PMF. If
Hmm.
we think about Fin today, Fin started with customer service. Now they're selling to sales as well. Now they're selling to e-commerce. Fin for e-commerce is there. So it's totally natural for you to start with one ICP and then expand to the other ICP and maybe pull plug saying, okay, I started with customer service. I don't want to be working in customer service anymore. I want to work with e-commerce just because you were able to get out there. People know about you. People have heard about you. You have the distribution, you'd be able to make sale happen there. Yeah.
Right.
That's my take. Anything
Um,
contrasting there?
yeah, like I think I agree. If you're in a job, don't necessarily quit the job. Build something, get some validation, and then take it on. Yeah, I think I agree.
Right, right. So I think it's been a great chat, guys, right? So
Yeah.
where do people find Peasy?
PZLabs.com. You can follow me, Kush, on LinkedIn as well. I'm Komala Chenna. This is Kushal Murthy. And yeah, we're helping make software onboarding easy peasy.
And self-driving,
Yeah.
right? So making
Self-driving.
software, I mean, just as the car is self-driving, you're making
Yeah.
software self-driving. So that's awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for the chat.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thank
thanks so
you.
much.
Have a good day.
This was actually fun.
Right, let's see how it came.
Wow.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Small problem that I realized
Yeah.
was that